about running some errands later in the evening, but something that was on my mind that I wanted to discuss with you guys is to not be embarrassed by the type of car or cars that you're into, that you like, that fit your budget, that set your soul on fire, that you genuinely enjoy. Right now, because of the internet, has all of our sense of reality extremely skewed. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you post up a 400, a 300, a 500 horsepower, wheel horsepower dynograph, people will literally in the comments flame you and laugh at you and make jokes and this and that, especially if it's 300 horsepower, you know? And to be honest, depending on what chassis that 300 horsepower is in, that might be a pretty fast car, you know? And even right now, the fact that I say fast car, and maybe someone won't do it here, but if you were to post up a 300 horsepower dynograph or whatever, or an 11-second or 12-second time slip or 13-second time slip from taking your car to the local drag strip, people are going to make fun of that because the internet has everyone thinking that you need 1,000 horsepower and that if you're not, you know, in whatever it is, you know, the new Mustang, an S197 with a Coyote and this and that your car is somehow subpar. I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. And whatever you enjoy is what you need to enjoy. And here's the thing, that's allowed to change. I'll speak from personal experience. When I was young, I'll give you a good story. This is Christmas 1993. I'm aging myself. This is why it's called Uncle Phil's Garage. It's Christmas 1993. And my uncle pulls up to my grandparents' house. I live with my grandparents. And he's in a brand new 1993 Acura Integra GSR. And he took me for a ride flying through town in this thing. And I was hooked. I was sold. Like, I don't know what it was. My dad, he was into Mustangs. And obviously I love that sound. You know what I mean? Who doesn't like a big lope of a V8 or a lope of a V8 with a big cam in it, you know? But whatever it was about, maybe it's because my uncle and he was, you know, younger than my dad. And so I enjoyed, I don't know, maybe I idolized him to a certain degree or whatever. I never really felt like that, but maybe subconsciously that's what it was. But whatever it was, I was sold on Hondas from that moment forward. And I was, how old was I then? I was 8 years old. Yeah, so I was born in 85. I was 8 years old then. So from the time I was 8 years old, and then I remember at being like 10 years old and buying Super Street magazines and that kind of stuff, or at least asking to buy Super Street magazines. I remember, don't do this. I remember stealing one from a local speed shop. One of the first ones I had is like my own, and cutting pictures out of it and putting on the wall. I'm not saying you should go steal anything. That was horrible, but my family was fucking broke. I didn't have any money, and it is what it is. But yeah, anyway, from that moment forward, I was into Hondas. And here's the thing, Hondas weren't really a cool thing until like the Fast and the Furious came out, you know, and then obviously people got DSMs and a little bit more people into Hondas, but they were definitely never accepted by the people that I was around when I was younger. You know, my uncle was the only person who had an import car, especially that early on. And then I was always surrounded by the people who were in my dad's circle, which were all domestic guys. And so I got tons of shit. And nonetheless, I didn't let that detract from my interest in these cars. Now, mind you, they weren't as willing to help me work on this car. But as soon as I saved up money and I bought my first car, which was a 91 Honda CRX, I started modifying it, you know what I mean? With little things here and there, whatever I could. And I will say that they were willing to help out once I showed, you know, an actual interest. And I had other friends that were getting into it, getting into cars and whatnot. And the reason I bring all this up is because, like I said, the internet has our view of reality extremely skewed right now. Number one, most people wouldn't know what to do with a 1,000 horsepower car. So if you have a car that makes 1,000 horsepower, you're not going to use that on the street anyway. You know what I mean? So people are just dyno queening their car, whatever, and that's totally fine. I don't mind what anyone wants to do with their car, with their money, with their build, whatever. That's really kind of the point of this video. is that I see a lot of young folks, they see on the internet, oh, you got to make 1,000 horsepower, you got to be in this chassis, it's got to be in a new, Hellcat or a new Mustang or whatever it is. Those cars are expensive, and like I've said in previous videos, most of us are working on a budget. I just so happened to get into Hondas very early. I didn't even realize that those were super budget friendly. There wasn't LS swaps yet. There wasn't that kind of stuff. And LS swaps aren't as budget friendly as a lot of y'all think, but they are a great budget option. It's what I've kind of graduated into right now is the LS stuff. I mostly want to do that because my goal here is to make fast backside and no prep stuff or no prep style vehicles. Backside primarily, because I feel like for me, the type of chassis and type of vehicle that I want to build currently fits that best. If I wanted to do radial racing, or if I want to do front side stuff or whatever, I would build it more geared towards that. But for what I'm doing, I want to be backside and I want to enjoy the vehicle more than anything else. And again, that is the whole point here, is that whatever you're into, that's cool. That's cool. You may hear on the internet, oh, this or that, or that's not cool, or, screw these Hondas, or, LS swaps are lame. Everyone has one. No, they don't. You know what I mean? If you drive around your hometown right now, look around the next time you're driving around, you know what I mean? And see how many air quote cool cars you see. Not a lot. It's because what we choose to surround ourselves, what pops up in our algorithm, we think everybody has a 1,000 horsepower car, or has this really built, really fast car. No, you're seeing hundreds of millions of people, right? A very small percentage of the hundreds of millions of people who you're surrounded by. There's 350 or 360 million people just in the United States of America. And there's a very small percentage of that are into automotive, and particularly automotive performance. So if you're into Hondas, be into Hondas. If you're into Volkswagens, be into Volkswagens. If you're into LS swapping, whatever it is, be into LS swapping. If you're into drifting, whatever chassis, BMWs, 350Zs, whatever it is that you were into, be into that. Put your passion into that. Don't let other people's opinions of what you should do with your time, with your money, and the things that you're interested in sway that from what you're actually going to do. At the end of the day, you're the one that's going to end up achieving these things and enjoying these toys, these cars, whatever they are. Your interest may change. You may be into cars right now, and then 3 years from now, you may be into fishing or boats or jet skis or quads or whatever. Be into that shit, man. Pour your passion, your time, your effort, your energy. Some of you are going to get out of this car stuff. Some of you young guys, right? Young. If you're 16 to 30 watching this right now, and you already don't have a partner, or you don't have kids, you're not married or whatever, some of you guys are going to get married, going to have partners, going to have kids, and there are things that are going to take your time and attention away. Some of you are going to be the best baseball, t-ball, soccer dads, whatever it is, out there. And that's a beautiful thing. Step into that. Do that with all of your passion. Some of you are going to choose to take a route like me, and you're just never going to step away from cars. That's okay too. Step into that. Choose that passion. But whatever you do, do it with all your heart, do it with your passion, and don't let the opinion of people who don't matter sway you away from what you really want to do.